Well, hello everyone. Welcome back from the coffee break. We hope you enjoyed more conversation, networking, and coffee. Now is perhaps the most exciting time of the day because it is the Future Unicorns Award ceremony that we will be kicking off very soon. To tell you a bit about the award, since 2018, the Future Unicorn Awards have showcased Europe's rising tech champions and celebrating innovation and elevating their voices in EU policy discussions. In just a short while, we will celebrate this year's winners. You actually see some of the actual physical awards over there at my desk, but you can't read what it says on it. You will soon find out who the winners are. And after our video, we're going to have Cecilia Bonnefeld-Dahl. She will be on the stage to announce the winners. So we begin.
2 awards, 1 mission. To champion Europe's most promising upcoming tech companies. Welcome to the 9th edition of Europe's leading scale-up competition. For nearly a decade, this award has been a launchpad for Europe's boldest entrepreneurs. 180 companies have been nominated from 30 countries. Those are Europe's future technology leaders. Together we scale, we lead, we succeed. Together we celebrate the Future Unicorn Award, which recognizes the scale-ups on track to reshape Europe's economy. From 19 exceptional nominees, our jury has selected 3 finalists. Scale-ups turning bold ambition into real-world impact. This is Europe's future, and the future starts now.
Everybody that knows me, I'm super excited about this award. I always say that we can talk about what we should be doing and not be doing or whatever, but in the end, it's all about what we are actually carrying into life. So this is the 9th edition. It was an inspiration that I had from a small town called Aalborg in Denmark. I was asked to be on a jury of this kind of award of innovation company. And, you know, as me, I started structuring it and making criterias, and are they international, and can they grow, and can they scale? And then I came to Brussels, and I was like, why is everybody so depressed? I mean, come on, the amount of problems that I learned about in this town that I didn't know existed. I mean, very dangerous AI and very dangerous one or the other. And I was like, well, I am going to show this town what we can actually do, how cool we are, how these companies are waking up every morning, you know, putting their houses at risk to do cool innovations. That is pretty cool. So this is exactly what I'm doing here. So it's the 9th year. We created a community of 180 scale-ups. We have about 600 unicorns in Europe now. And I'm proud to say of the 28 that was created in last year, we from this award have at least nurtured 10. So that's a quite good sign. But it takes the ecosystem to really succeed in this. This is why you will meet, of course, EVP Virkkunen. You will see Nadia Calviño, the president of the European Investment Bank. And I really believe that, Starmer actually said in Munich Security Conference, quote, Europe is a sleeping giant. And this event is called Europe Taking the Reins, and we did. So, one of my wingmans in this award, Robert, please join me on stage. Hand, everybody. So we always talk about, you know, my bosses, right? So you're also one of my bosses. So you're at the Digital Europe board, and you are one of the people that really cares about like scale-ups and how we do. So we feature this award with Schwarz Group. Who is Schwarz Group, and why is this award so important for you?
First of all, it's an outstanding privilege to stay here in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, EVP, Mrs. Virkkunen, entrepreneurs and colleagues. So I'm here as a representative of the Schwarz Group. Most of you know the Schwarz Group as being European largest retail group. At the same point in time, most of you also know that 2.5 years back, we've started with Schwarz Digits. the go-to-market for sovereign solutions, which we haven't just thought about recently. We started 8 years back. It was part of also my work to set up a digital strategy for the whole group, and that already started 2017. So, and looking forward, of course, to open this ceremony today, as it is also one of the most important milestones for us moving forward.
Thank you so much. So you said, you are building, you're building an infrastructure for these scalable companies. Talk a little bit about that. What does that look like?
I think most of you already heard that we are about to build one of the largest data centers in Europe, in Lübbenau. At the same point in time, most of you also heard about our ambitions to start also building an AI gigafactory in Europe. And I just want to highlight that although we're talking a lot about data centers, this is not the whole value chain of what we call AI, right? It already starts with chips, data centers, but of course also the software steering it, data rooms, foundational models, and so on. So to manage all of this, we cannot go for a big shot. We have to accept the fact that we are still very fragmented in the way we operate. And this has to change. So for us, first of all, the interest is together, of course, with the startups to strengthen entrepreneurship. Most of you know that we're running a business of about more than 200 billion US dollars, but most of you probably do not know that at the same point in time, although this is a very large amount, it's unprecedented that this company is just owned by one entity. By one entity being a profitable, charitable, non-profit charitable foundation, investing everything into education. And this fuels our ecosystem and of what we consider as being our understanding of what is needed in order to move forward. The same point in time, we of course, as a retailer, have since a couple of decades to focus on a necessary degree of freedom. The ability to leave the table during a negotiation if you figure out that this is not a viable option. And this might have different kind of words and meanings for everybody here, but this is in essence of what we understand in terms of talking about sovereignty. It's not dividing the world into good and evil. And excuse me for my bad French, but that's for idiots. It's about having the freedom of choice which is needed in order to move forward and steer your business. And the third aspect is, of course, that out of the idea of setting up an ecosystem, we should not just understand of what is needed. And it also takes way more than just the conviction of that we have to do something. It takes a third element, which is determination, acting. You've mentioned it at the very beginning, right? We're talking a lot, and sometimes we're just losing ourselves in negative news and are just facing of what is, of course, sure to happen. And this is just nothing else than a prophecy, which we fulfill by ourselves by just spreading those kind of news and spreading those kind of examples. We should invest way more into acting. Acting and using occasions like those here, together with the entrepreneurs, together with the ones who are not suffering on the innovator's dilemma, who are not facing any kind of loss aversion of having to let go on a business field or even the whole endeavor when it's about picking up on new chances. And these are the startups, and this is why we have to support them and we have to learn every day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Robert. Please, a big hand for Robert. Thank you. So I think I can, in a minute, welcome somebody on stage that share that passion. She is the Executive Vice President for Technological Sovereignty and Security. Security and sovereignty and technology. Well, I can just say that I don't think I would have heard those words, 10 years ago. But it really underpins how important it is for us not to try to protect ourselves, but to innovate ourselves out of these challenges that we have. And one thing that we for sure agreed on all day is we have the coolest companies in the world. We are leading on drone technologies, energy technologies, quantum technologies. So how do we scale them? This is exactly the project of this award. about this whole process. And this is why I am particularly honored to welcome Executive Vice President Hanna Virkanen on stage. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here, dear ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by warmly thanking Digital Europe for organizing this very important event. It's now more important than ever to connect Europe's technological ecosystem with policymakers and investors. And when I look at Europe, and I see that we have everything what is needed to be strong and competitive in technologies. And I think the greatest strength we have is really in our startups and in our scale-ups. So together we have more than 50,000 startups and scale-ups in Europe, and we know that there's huge potential together with our excellent research and science and with our very strong industrial basis we have. And I also very warmly welcome the initiative of Digital Europe's Future Unicorn Award and its role in bringing the continent's tech-driven excellence into the spotlight tonight. I extend my sincere congratulations also to all finalists. You are shaping Europe's technological future. We are living through a very historic shift now, and technology is playing a huge part in this. And like we heard, also technology, security, democracy, there is very strong connection. And that's why there is so hard competition also globally on that who is now really leading in these technologies, who is controlling those technologies is very much ruling the economy and world. And that's why it's important that we are now strongly building up our own capacities in this. And we have everything what is needed. AI, quantum, chips, advanced materials, and dual use, they are transformative technologies. Together, they also offer potential far beyond the sum of their parts. The reassuring news is that there is a growing awareness of Europe's excellence in driving these technologies. Nevertheless, many of our best startups, as we know, they still struggle to scale and grow their businesses in Europe. They face still fragmented markets, challenges in raising late-stage financing, and also difficulties in navigating the regulatory landscape. The Commission is actively taking steps to address all these challenges, and we are doing so with the determination. First of all, simplification and speed. We want startups and scale-ups to focus on delivering tech breakthroughs and getting them to the market. And to keep them focused on that, we are taking concrete steps to remove potential distractions and barriers. So it's very important that we are now simplifying the EU rules. We have already taken many steps in last year with several omnibuses. One of them were also touching digital rules, the first simplification package on digital, and we will continue the process. And also we are deepening the single market because we know that this is very much harming the businesses and the cross-border activities, that we still have too many barriers between the member states. So these are clearly now the topics we are working very intensively together with our member states and stakeholders, simplifying, making Europe easier, faster, simpler for the businesses, and using the full potential of our single market. Also, in a few weeks' time, the Commission will publish our proposal for 28 regime for innovative companies. And our goal is very simple here, to make Europe the easiest place in the world to grow a tech company from startup to unicorn. And the second challenge we are addressing is the need for investment in scale. We know that one of the biggest challenges facing European scale-ups is when they need to raise over 100 million euro in investment. And here there is a gap in European capital markets that needs to be addressed. There is an opportunity for public investment to crowd in private capital and help European companies scale in Europe. A concrete example is the Quantum Grant Challenge recently launched by the Euro-HPC joint undertaking. And this initiative aims to support European quantum computing startups in transitioning from promising prototypes to market-ready, industrial-scale quantum computing platforms tailored to specific end-use needs. And by this summer, 6 to 7 quantum startups will be selected, and each of them will receive a combination of Horizon Europe funding and EIB financing under InvestEU, typically structured as 30 million euro in venture debt. And this is an example of an initiative which exemplifies how Europe's support can be very effectively combined with a large-scale investment as well. And in this effort, the Commission, in cooperation with our Euro-HPC joint undertaking, we are leading by example. And we are also setting up a Scale Up Europe Fund to support late-stage growth in strategic technologies. And this vehicle, focused on Europe's scale-ups, will be only investing in big tickets. So when we look at the financial parts and the capital markets union, we see that Europe has enormous untapped potential. We have capital in Europe. We have around 33 trillion euros in household savings, much of which is not mobilized for innovation now. And to achieve this, we are now focused on delivering a true investment and savings union, really to also incentivize that our households and families, that they are also willing and able to invest part of their savings. And of course, it will help very much our startups who are willing to scale up their businesses. Really, if our households and families are also encouraged to invest in Europe, not only keeping their savings in the bank account, like it's the case now. And in parallel, under the next EU budget, we are also planning to invest significantly more in critical technologies, including through a future competitiveness fund. So we are very committed to working together with you in making Europe the most attractive market to grow your company, but also to invest in growing and promising new ventures. Because more than ever before, we have a larger, sharp focus on helping our innovators, founders, and investors to choose Europe. We are doing so by improving the conditions for startups and scale-ups, enabling them to grow here, and also reducing the reasons to relocate outside of European Union. That challenge I address relates to infrastructure and ecosystems, because now, when we see that we have, for example, more than 40,000 startups, many of them are now focusing to AI and innovations in this part. So more than 8,000 startups are now training and developing AI. And of course, they are often facing big obstacles to access to computing capacity and infrastructure. And that's why with our AI Continent Action Plan, we are now expanding Europe's compute backbone. We are making advanced compute accessible to startups, researchers, and also for industry. And this is already now delivering. Today, the EU stands as a global leader in providing compute power as a public good. And this is thanks to our AI factories. We will have 19 of them up and running very soon, and they are free for European startups to use. But we are not stopping there. This year, we will also launch the first AI gigafactories in Europe that will significantly scale up the compute offering on the continent as well. And through our Apply AI strategy, we are also accelerating adoption of AI across all sectors, ensuring that innovation translates into real markets and customers. And we are also reinforcing Europe's leadership in quantum technologies, advanced materials, semiconductors, connectivity, and cloud, with new initiatives currently in preparation. When we speak about Europe's technological sovereignty, it's not about closing borders or picking winners. It's about creating conditions for innovation to thrive, for startups to scale, and for unicorns to emerge and stay in Europe. The needs of innovators, such as all finalists here today, they are at the center of our minds and in the actions we shape. So the Commission is very committed to being a partner to Europe's innovators. We want to make Europe faster, easier, simpler for the businesses. We want to attract innovations, investments, and talented people to Europe. And we aim to mobilize more investment, simplify faster, and deliver also the infrastructure, what is needed. And we know that we have to do it with the urgency. So I want to thank you, everybody, for your participation. And I want to wish also best luck to all of the finalists. And I want to once more underline that we are very proud of you and we are counting on you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Am I staying?
Yes, so we will stay on stage, but I think, first of all, a big thank you for picking this up and supporting this award. These companies are amazing. Last year's winner just received 150 million for scaling quantum system. You know them, and several of them has received funding from the EU. This is extremely important for us that you, as a leader, is taking, them under your wing so they can fly far. So with that, I would like to invite on stage our three finalists, the CEOs of Sparrow, Quandelo, and Canatu, on stage together with the jury members, Marete and Tom from EIF and from Atomico. Please come on stage. Yeah. Good chance for you also to meet the candidates a bit. So. Just saying we are proud of you, and I think we should be. I think it's such a good setting to be in. You start these companies, you want to scale them, you walk through fire and ice to actually get your innovations out there. So I wanted to create this opportunity for the EVP to actually ask you a few questions to the three innovators at the end. So please.
Thank you very much, and it's a great pleasure to meet all of you here. And once more, congratulations for everybody, because you have been successful with your business story. Of course, I think it would be interesting to everybody to maybe know that what was the biggest obstacle or hurdle you had on the way, and how you overcome it. So what made it your successful in this endeavor?
So in my case, I'm always asked that it's doing quantum physics, quantum technology. This quantum is really hard, isn't it? I mean, and understanding. And so the answer may be surprising. To me, the hard part is actually to build up this team that succeeds in growing, a big company. Having all these innovative minds that are very, very good at what they're doing, working together on a common goal. That's also a huge opportunity, challenge, fun, and exciting, but very, very difficult because it's very specialized minds that are inventing technology that doesn't even exist. So to get them to succeed together, that's what excites me, but also sometimes makes my hair gray.
And what is your secret? Why you were successful? You didn't give up.
Because we have unique technology, we have deep, deep knowledge. We are nerds. I'm a deep nerd. You already noticed. And I've run a big research group for many, many years where we have deep dived into light matter, how that interacts at the most fundamental level. So the technology that we are developing comes from that very, very deep, curious understanding of how nature works. And then we were also lucky because suddenly it started to work very well, and we understand all the fundamental processes. So now we know how to scale these systems up, we know how to do the engineering, we know how to do the innovation. So that combo of deep knowledge. What was the question?
It's your secret.
Yes, that's the secret. I think that's the strength of Sparrow Quantum. Deep knowledge combined with innovative mindset and putting that together and succeed.
Very good.
In our case, so Candela, we also build quantum computers, and we have an approach which I would say it's a customer-centric approach. We develop full-stack quantum computers, and we make sure that actually these quantum computers can be used to solve real-world problems. And we had this in mind since the beginning. We are not here just to deploy a technology. We are here to provide a tool for our community, and we have been very proud to be able to deliver quantum computers for the GU Euro HPC, which is now being installed in France. We have deployed quantum computers in Canada as well. So now we have a bit of pilots a bit everywhere. And I think, our secret sauce is we come from the science, we come from the technology, but we are here to provide tools to customers and to researchers, and we are here to support a community of developers, engineers, because we believe that Europe will be one of the best stakeholder in the race of quantum computers. That's a very important point, and it drives all our decisions day to day, because it's also part of the change of the travel from the lab. I'm also a scientist, I'm a physicist originally, so from the lab to entrepreneur to solution maker. That's one thing. I think also now, if I can take the chance, we have two pillars that we need to address if we want Europe to take the lead and to continue in this pace. We need to structure, Europe must structure a large-scale procurement plan based on benchmarks, based on multi-year plans that actually will be here to first, that's going to be competitive, and we will gain visibility across the world. And also we will provide trust and visibility to customers and to financial markets. That's going to be key because today, quantum computing companies like us, we need several hundreds of millions to finalize the development of useful and full large-scale quantum computers, industrialize these quantum computers, and also secure a supply chain, which I hope will be a European supply chain. And for this, actually, we will need to have several hundreds of millions. This should be available here today, not in 10 years, because this is today that we need to build the supply chain and start the industrialization while creating the use cases. And this also, I would like to highlight, in our company, we invest a lot of resources in the benchmarks, because without benchmark, you cannot have trust, and without trust, you cannot build a community of users. And we also with this, this is how we will gain capital, and Europe has a key role to play on this, to provide investment to private sector to invest in scale-ups like us, and also to be able that we will give us the resources to achieve these coming steps. So, thank you.
Yeah, so Canatu is a deep tech company focusing on what we call advanced carbon nanotubes, so a materials company. And the most challenging part, and I have to be a bit boring here because we have heard this today from speeches, but I cannot lie. So the technology development, which is by design for deep tech challenging, and I'm sure my colleagues here would agree, is not the hardest part, or has not been for us the hardest part, but it's been rather the raising capital to drive that development. And while we have been receiving significant help and support and funding from Europe, from European investors, but also EIB and earlier from R&D funds, we wouldn't be here without capital coming from other continents, from Asia and from USA. Like in our funding rounds, they have been driven by Denso Corporation from Japan and also 3M from USA. And that kind of highlights that it has been challenging to find sort of funding entities from Europe that understand nanomaterials, but more than that, understand the timeline and risk associated with developing deep tech, because it's not about years, it's more about decades. So you have to kind of sort of be okay to live with that. And as mentioned by Henna earlier as well, it's even if it starts from hundreds of thousands of euros and move to millions of euros and tens of millions of euros, I mean the money you need to drive the technology forward. Before the technology is sort of at its ripe, it often requires hundreds of millions and even billions, like ASML has been putting billions in the development of EUV technology, and back in the day, Samsung probably put billions into OLEDs before they started to really materialize from commercial point of view. So that's a challenge. Fortunately for Canatu, we were able to find then European SPAC company, so special purpose acquisition company, that we were able to merge together with a couple of years back, and now we are listed in Helsinki Nasdaq. So now we have opportunity to continue to grow in Europe with sort of European terms. And maybe lastly, having said that, just this week we learned that IQM, like this Europe's biggest quantum computer company, they got or will get probably listed in US stock exchange. So I think that in a way underlines the fact that it is still a challenge, and they chose to go there because the capital is better there. There's more capital apparently, and that of course is, in my opinion, better than they would have been bought by American company. But it's still not ideal for Europe for various reasons.
Thank you so much. So basically, I think we heard a little bit that we have nerds and genius people enough, but we lack the funding and the next business plan towards the billion euro company, right? So we have two of the jury members on stage. So what I've been trying to do is really bring together policymaker, investors, the future unicorns, to create our own little ecosystem that we have here. So maybe starting with you, Tom. So how do you see, that you can help, unfold this, and do you see a change in Europe in how we invest and how we facilitate?
I mean, yes, clearly we see a change. And, first and foremost, as we've just heard, we have exceptional talent, exceptional founders, exceptional ideas. And then, as we've heard consistently through the day, what we need to do is scale them up. And I think from the company side, what does it take to go from startup to scale up? Of course, it's kind of table stake, those three things that I just said, great founding team, great idea and innovation that's really solving a problem. But I think the key thing, and actually we heard some of it already, is you have to build as a company an engine, an execution engine, and an engine that can execute consistently at really, really high speed, because that's the pace that innovation moves at. And just do it at an exceptional level. And to build that machine, I think every company needs three things. You need world-class talent, which we have in abundance here. You also need an amazing culture, a culture and an operating system as a company that allows you to take risk, to make big bets, but ultimately to drive performance as a business. And then with that, you also need amazing capital allocation. A lot of the decisions you're making are about, okay, I have this money, how do I invest it? How do I make sure that I'm investing in R&D, in product, in talent, in go-to-market in the right way? And then once you have that engine, which increasingly we're doing as a region, you need fuel. How do you use fuel to make these amazing companies into the rocket ships that we know that they're capable of? And so this is where we really have an opportunity. This is where we are seeing things start to move. So the Executive Vice President, you spoke about the Scale Up Europe Fund. You spoke about Savings and Investment Union, the trillions of euros that we can tap into there. Maria, I don't want to steal your thunder too much, because you're obviously doing amazing things here. But I think really my message would be, how do we make sure that we're skating to where the puck's going? So yes, we can talk about funding rounds in the hundreds of millions, but actually today we're seeing funding rounds in the tens of billions. So how do we make sure that we get to a place where we have a full stack capital market, from the very first angel ticket that gets invested all the way through into the public markets, where we can then fund those bets into businesses that will compound and build scale and will take us to trillion euro outcomes, which I'm absolutely certain we have the capability to get to.
Amazing. So, Marete, you are doing amazing stuff here. I'm going to give you a chance, instead of focusing at challenges, to tell a little bit about what you do, because you actually have a huge focus on technologies, right? And many of the companies, now we look through those 180 companies that we have in our portfolio now, and several of them have received either from EIB or EIF funding through funds of funds. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Exactly, and I was super, super happy to be invited to the jury of the Future Unicorns Award, because I think we do need to give visibility, as you were mentioning, and also celebrate. Because as you were saying earlier today, we tend to be a bit bleak in Europe sometimes when we talk about the scaling up possibilities, and it's so difficult, and it is difficult. But we also have to celebrate the companies that actually do make it, that do manage to get the financing, that do manage to grow and scale up in Europe. And yes, there are challenges, and some companies will vote with their feet and go elsewhere to get the financing. Some would have gone anyway, but I think what is key is that these companies testify also that there is funding available out there. There is support systems out there for companies from the very early stages, support through the European Investment Council, and moving up through the different stages, also other types of support from the EU budget, from the EIB group, and so on. So the role, of course, of the public funding, both at national and at EU scale, is not to replace the private, which would be impossible anyway, but to make sure that we accompany the private, to make sure that we can de-risk for them, so that they have incentives to come on board. And also our role is to make sure that we establish the ecosystems that make the scale-up funding available to the companies. And as you were saying, Tom, it needs to be from the very early stages until the really big scale-up companies and up into the billions and tens of billions of funding rounds. And we in the EIB group, for our part, we have taken upon us playing this role of market builder to crowd in the privates to make sure that the future venture ecosystems are built in Europe. As an example, we have, and Tom here knows this very well, we launched an European Tech Champions initiative, which now in its third year has funded funds or invested in funds that reach the 1 billion or are able to reach the 1 billion mark for target size, which is what de facto then enables to write out the big tickets. And initiatives like the Scale Up Fund of the European Commission is another of those initiatives that also is aiming to have a really big fund that can write out big tickets. So all in all, I think that we can say that all the signals that there is that the structural, if you will, the structural bottleneck for late-stage financing for growth companies is being addressed. And I think that is a very positive signal. And it's all about the unicorns. And our ETCI funds are now investing into numerous companies, and 11 of them, as of today, are unicorns, European unicorns. And the reason why they're so important, I mean, this is not only to, let's say, toot our own horn and saying that this is something that we have achieved, but it's because at the end of the day, the unicorns, they have the ability to grow fast and to disrupt existing industries. And that, in the end of the day, also is what will create jobs and create new areas of technologies, which is what we need for boosting innovation, but also for us to be able in Europe to retain control over some of these technologies that you're also working on in the Commission. And this is really central to the EU strategy for global competitiveness in the future.
Thank you so much. Actually, I mean, I remember when I came to Brussels, I kept on saying, everybody was talking about startups. I say, okay, but why are we talking about startups? We should talk about the scale-ups. We should really, and now it seems that the ecosystem is actually emerging on stage from the EVP to the EIF, EIB, to the investment funds, and to the scale-up. So now I think it's time for us to reveal the winner of the award. Yeah? Should we try that? Yeah. So let's. I will bring you to the lectern, and we will see if we have an envelope that's coming to us, and potentially we are able to. Thank you so much. Thank you. So you're going to hold the award. So I'm going to show you, without the other guys seeing, what it says. Whoosh. Don't look. So let's see. Are you ready? Drum roll, everybody. And the winner is?
Quandela.
Yeah. Congratulations. And,
Unicorn for you.
should have this one like this. Thank you so much. So maybe we could ask the two second winners to come on stage with us and receive their awards also, so we can take a picture. Please step forward. Also the jury to come. One at a time.
Finalist, Sparrow Quantum. Yes.
Congratulations, Peter.
Congratulations. And here we have Kanatsu.
And Ilka, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So a big congratulations also from me. Thank you so much. Okay, we will take a picture and then hopefully we will have a small speech afterwards, a winner's speech. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. A big hand and congratulations to all three of you. So maybe we can ask for a short reflection and winner speak from yourself. Please step forward.
Okay.
Yeah?
Thank you. Thank you very much. First, I would like to thank the organizers and jury members for selecting Candela. Congratulations to Sparrow Quantum and Kanatu. I think it was a very tough decision to make. So this prize honors us. I would like to share it with all team of Candela. So we are about 150 people in Munich, in Paris, and also across the globe. I have a deep thought for all my colleagues that I will share with them this prize, of course. Also would like to mention that this prize, this recognition with European Commission and European Innovation Bank make us, obligate us in a sense that now we have to make it. We have to become the unicorn. We have to build the future that we want to build. We have to provide the tools that Europe needs. And like you said before, it's time now to wake up the giants. And it's on our role now at Candela to wake up the quantum giant. Thank you.
So I'm going to ask all of you to stay on stage. I don't know if we have the president of the... There you are, Nadia. So I would like everybody to stay on stage, but ask Nadia to join us on stage. Please give, in 1 second, a big hand to a person with whom I have worked now for 8 years and who is moving the needle on everything in Europe. Thank you so much for coming.
arrived from Luxembourg, so I know I have missed the beginning of the celebration. Just wanted to say how happy I am to be surrounded by some of Europe's most promising innovators. Some are not yet unicorns, some are already unicorns, and the European Investment Bank is a proud supporter of Europe's talent, and very happy to cooperate with you, Cecilia, and with Digital Europe in making things happen, moving the needle, as you said. We know what we need to do, so let's just do it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, of course, I'm a little bit proud. If you look at this company, it's the whole ecosystem on one stage, from basically the companies that makes the innovation to the investment funds that are investing in them, to the Commission who decides actually to put the money there and drive the strategy of Europe, to my dear friend here who is creating an ecosystem around the cloud solutions in Europe, and to Nadia who signs out the big tickets together with Marete. And with that, I want to bridge it to what you saw in the start of the day. We have around 20 CEOs in here, in this room, who have signed the commitment to the AI Tech Declaration, to invest in digitalization of Europe in our projects that we have proposed, but also to the simplification of the European market. Please join me on stage, everybody who was a signature of the European AI and Tech Declaration, for a photo with the President, the EVP. Please. Yes, please.